Heavenly Father, you are such a great and merciful God. Lord, we ask you to bless every single person in the hearing of my voice. We ask you to bless every single person in this on this line. Bless all the students, bless all the parents and guardians. We ask you to touch the minds of the students, quicken their minds and sharpen their intelligence so that they would understand what we teach them and know that true science comes from you. We ask to bless them all. Bless us all. We pray in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Okay, let's go over our mission statement, everybody together. True
True
success
success
is
is
helping
helping
others
others
to
to
succeed.
succeed.
Again,
True
true
success
success
is
is
helping
helping
others
others
to
to
succeed.
succeed. Every day you must do something to help somebody else. Did anybody do anything to help somebody? You want to share with us? Yes, Maya?
Somebody always fell off the merry-go-round and I helped them up. They were sliding off.
Okay, so during playtime at school, she said somebody fell off the merry-go-round and she had them almost, and she had them back up on the merry-go-round. Very good. Anybody else? Did you do something to help somebody this week?
Hold on. Can everybody mute? Can everybody mute themselves, please? Perhaps you
Okay.
have them to mute.
Yeah, mute yourselves only when you want to
Please
talk.
mute. Everyone mute, please.
Okay, Angelina, you want to share something with us?
Joy, mute.
Until you're ready to speak.
Yeah, until you're ready to speak. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I helped them bring groceries.
Okay, so Angelina said she helped her mommy bring in the groceries. Very good. So try every day to do something to help someone, to
Amen.
brighten the day, to make them happy, to relieve the burden. Good. And you'll succeed, you'll get a blessing, and they will also succeed and get a blessing.
God will give you a special blessing when you help others.
Okay, next one.
Okay.
We found one, I forgot to do it.
Okay. Now we go to our periodic table. Remember, this periodic table is God's kitchen. God used these elements to make everything that He has made, everything under the sun. God used these elements in this periodic table to make them all. For example, if somebody asks you to make peas and rice, what would you get from the store?
Stuff to make pizza rice.
Okay.
Stuff like what?
Okay, well, let me ask you another one. Let's say somebody asked you to make macaroni and cheese. What would you get from the store?
To make macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese, exactly. So the thing about it is that if you want to make carbon dioxide,
Yeah.
what would you use? What elements would you use to make carbon dioxide?
Carbon and oxygen.
Carbon and oxygen. Very good. Very good.
Carbon and oxygen. Very good.
Now let's take another one. Let's take water. This one is not as straightforward, but if we want to make water, what elements, remember water is H2O. What elements will you use to make water? Anybody?
Carbon.
No.
No.
Okay. No, okay, somebody's giving me that and say over here.
H2O.
H2O.
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
H?
What's
What
the
is
second
O?
element?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen and oxygen.
Hydrogen
good.
and oxygen. So
Hydrogen and
those are the two
oxygen.
elements that are used to make water. But guess what? Do you remember I mentioned to you that when God made light, the first thing He made, there was darkness on the face of the earth, right? And the Spirit of God moved upon the waters. So before God made light, there was water. So before light was made, which is the first thing God made, there was hydrogen and oxygen. So that means that hydrogen is very, very important in the sight of God for it to be at the very inception when He started doing anything that He made. And oxygen was also there at the very beginning. So we look at the two of them. And we even made hydrogen and we made oxygen. So we're going to be talking about some of that a little later on. So let's first, we want you to, everybody on the line, to know all the elements. Without even looking at them, you must know all the elements. So we'll do a quick drill. We send some of you some
Okay.
elements. Okay, so now let's see here. Let's start off. What's the symbol for carbon?
C.
C.
Very good. What's the symbol for hydrogen?
H.
H,
Very
right?
good.
And you're not supposed to look, you should memorize all of these here. Next, oxygen.
O.
Oh.
O. O. Next, nitrogen.
N.
N.
N. Okay. Now, helium.
H.
H-E. Very
Okay.
good.
What I'm going to do slightly differently now. I'm going to ask somebody here to ask somebody to ask anybody. So somebody online would answer. Okay. What's the next one?
After helium.
Sodium is sodium.
No.
Calcium.
Calcium. So somebody online was a symbol for calcium.
Ca.
Very
Ca.
good. Ca.
Okay, ask the question. What is the symbol for, what's the next one?
Ask it.
Ask the question.
After calcium.
Maya. After calcium is what? So ask the question.
So somebody can
What is
answer.
the symbol for sulfur? Go ahead.
They're
Ask
not
loud.
hearing you.
Ask the people.
What is the symbol for
Okay, she's asking what's a symbol for sulfur.
S.
S.
Very good.
Okay. Next one.
Angelina,
Loud enough.
ask.
potassium?
What
Okay.
wants to know
Very
what's the
good.
symbol for potassium?
She's answered already. K. Joy answered K.
Okay,
let's listen.
next
Ask
one.
this question.
Ask a question.
What is the symbol?
What is the symbol for silver?
What is the symbol for silver was the next question asked.
Ag.
AG. Okay, Joy, you ask the next question. Ask somebody what's the symbol for gold.
What's the symbol for gold?
AU.
AU. Very good. Okay, and lead. What's the symbol for lead?
Pp.
And we told you that's a Latin word meaning plum bloom, okay? That's why it's PB. It's different than the others. It does not start with the letter of the word.
Right.
And the symbol for zinc.
And let me just say, because some persons might be on for the first time, so they might not be privy to this information. We did tell the folks that some of these words have Latin roots. So that's why lead seems different. Lead is PB because what Latin word does it come from? Anybody can tell me?
Lead.
Plumbum.
Right.
Plumbum is the Latin word for lead. That's why lead is PB. And the next two we also know is silver and gold. We learned a little song. AG, silver, AU.
Silver. A. Gold.
AG,
Ag. Silver. U. Gold.
So we know those two really well now. Now zinc, what's the symbol for zinc? ZN.
Very good.
Okay.
Iron. Fe. Very good. Okay, Joy, copper.
Cu.
Cu.
Copper. And the last one, sodium.
Na.
Na.
Okay, so these
okay.
are some of the more common elements. We want you to learn them and learn the symbols. There's some more we'll be adding like aluminum, etc. So please learn them.
Okay.
The elements and the symbols. You should know them.
Now, one of the things that we want them to also know is the importance of some of these elements in real life. In other words, let's say take zinc, for example. And by the way, we may have some medical missionaries on the line. And so we teach them at an early age the importance of some of these things here for health. Zinc, for example, is a good example. Zinc is a good example. I mean, people take zinc, for example, if they have COVID, or if they want to boost their immune system against COVID. But what does the zinc actually do? I'm going to explain this to you because I don't think I've explained it before. What the zinc does, it prevents the virus from replicating, in other words, from becoming plentiful, from splitting into many other viruses. It causes the splitting to stop. And so instead of having a million or from multiplying, instead of having a million, if you start off with 10 or so a few of them, it stops the replication, it stops the multiplying of the virus. So taking zinc, in fact, help somebody who may have COVID. In fact, Sonny, do you take zinc tablets sometimes?
Sometimes, yes, if I'm exposed, and but every day, almost every day, I drink a ginger tea. I put ginger in my tea. Ginger has zinc in it. Yes, ginger has zinc in it. Right.
Gingerbread.
Yeah, but gingerbread have a
And
lot.
also,
Go ahead, Joy.
and also ginger chews.
Yeah, they also ginger chews, but the ginger chews and the ginger bread or ginger house, they have a lot of sugar in them. So be careful, you can't eat too much at a time. But if you just get the root itself, the ginger, and you boil it into a tea, put a little honey in there, a little lemon in there, it's very good. It has zinc in it, which your body needs to build your immune system, to keep the viruses away from entering your cells and multiplying themselves in your body. Okay.
Now, you mentioned sugar. Why is sugar bad for your immune system? Now, sugar, why would you tell a friend of yours not to take too much sugar if they're worried about strengthening their immune system against any virus or anything like that? What does a sugar do? And it's important for you to know that.
Yeah, go ahead, Joy.
It gives you cavities.
Okay, that's
Okay,
one thing it does. That's one thing it does.
A whole bunch of cavities if you have too much.
It
Gives you
And it's
cavities.
very, very bad.
by the way,
Angelina, you know why? Why should I say?
okay. By the way,
Because it kills your immune system.
it kills the
your
immune system.
Very good.
Okay.
Angelina.
Now, by the way, anybody online, we want you to feel free to express yourself. If there's no right answer or wrong answer, we just want you to try the best answer that you know. We all on the same side. We're trying to help you along. We want to see you better. So that's fine. Have no inhibitions about saying the answer as you see fit. Okay, the reason why sugar is so bad for you, I was going to demonstrate it here, but I'm going to, just in the interest of time, I'm going to do it slightly differently. Anytime you eat sugar, when the sugar is processed, the two byproducts of sugar are carbon dioxide and water. Those are the two byproducts of sugar. And if I have a candle here, if you can lift that candle up for me for a second. If I pour this water in this jar, what do you think is going to happen when
The candle's gonna go.
the candle is going to go out? What
Right.
will put the candle out?
Water.
The water.
But if
Right.
there's if there's more water, it takes out the fire. But if there's more fire, the fire won't really stop. It'll just keep going and going and going.
Okay.
Why did you put, okay, the water would
The
put
water would put the
out.
fire out. Now, this experiment, I've done it several times for you guys. I would make carbon dioxide just using baking soda and vinegar, and just pour it in there, the carbon dioxide, pour it in there. And the carbon dioxide puts out the fire. So both carbon dioxide and water both put out a fire. And those are the two things that are formed when you eat a lot of sugar, when you process sugar. So both things suppress your immune system. It suppresses the fire within you, the energy within you. Okay, so that's the elements. Okay, next. Okay,
No,
what we have?
What's the next one? It was a prison.
Yeah, I sent the link to let you know this.
No, was a
The
prison.
review question asked how many light.
Yes, so put it back, the prison, yes. Good,
Okay.
yes. Good.
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue.
Okay,
yellow, white.
next we're gonna talk about light. Light.
Wow, that's a rainbow.
Okay, so we're gonna make some light. It's easy. We changing one form of energy to another form.
Can I help?
Okay, okay, you can just come out there. Now, when you move something, this is mechanical energy, and when you move something, it's changed into light energy. So mechanical energy is changing into light energy.
What's the cause? What's the
Just be careful. I have a volunteer that helped me here. Okay, so just
Hold it up to the camera. Hold it up.
Oh, you're left-handed. Okay, okay.
She needs to hold it up to the camera.
Okay.
Good, right. Turn it. So that's the movement is called mechanical energy. And when she moves it, she turns the handle of the lantern and the light comes on. And that's mechanical energy turned into light energy.
Right, right.
Right.
By the way, when we talk about mechanical energy, there are two types of mechanical energy, potential and kinetic. Kinetic is when something moves. Potential is when you're holding it like this. Like if I have my wife right here and I hold this pencil above her head, this is what you call potential energy. And once I release it and it starts moving like this, then that potential energy is changed into kinetic energy. You know, connect, that should help you. Kinetic is when something is moving. Like if water is running or a bicycle, you're riding a bicycle, that's kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is energy of movement. Movement, that's kinetic energy. Okay, potential, not moving. Kinetic energy is moving. Okay.
Good, Maya. You can put it down.
Okay, thank you very much. You've
Okay,
been
go
very
back to the
helpful.
prism.
Okay.
Prism.
Light is divided up into 7 colors.
Listen, Maya.
Some people know the colors of the rainbow. This is us.
It's sharing, right? So they can see
Red,
it.
orange, yellow, green,
Yes, okay. Yes.
Indigo,
Okay. Red, orange, yellow, green,
green, blue,
violet.
indigo, and violet.
Yes.
Right.
Some
This
people
is the
say,
colors of the rainbow.
now just imagine some girls playing and one of the girls came back and said, run off you girls, boys in view. That's one thing to help you to remember.
Run off,
Run
you girl.
off you girls, boys in view. R for red, O for orange, Y for yellow, G for green, B for blue, indigo, violet. Run off you girls, boys in view. So that's just to help you to remember those colors in order. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Some people say Roy G. Biv. That's what they use to help them to remember. We don't care how you remember it, right? But run off you girls, boys in view would help you to remember that. Okay, so these are the colors of the rainbow, same thing. Okay. What next do we have, sir? Okay. Okay.
Yes, let's go to the.
Yeah, the review, we went for the review.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna quickly go to our review. We sent some of you the questions already. Okay, well, you think it's appropriate to take a pause and do an experiment? What do you
He
think?
can see, it's on the screen. He can show he just has to switch cameras. They can see, right? Yes.
No, she just
If you're
suggested.
ready, you gotta give me time to switch from share to.
Okay.
This is an experiment.
I'm gonna do an experiment now.
Yes, yes. Okay, it was suggested that just we take some time and do an experiment. You know, the last time I shared a story with you where Brother Ernie was in New York, and then he went back to his car and he saw somebody with a hose like this, and the person took one end of the hose and put it in his car, in his gas tank. And he couldn't, I got to say, he couldn't understand what was going on, right? But he did. What do you think the guy was trying to do?
Take his gas.
Take his gas.
Steal his gas.
Steal his gas.
Steal his gas, not take it, you're stealing it.
But why would he put a hose in there? Why would he put a hose in there?
So he could suck it up and.
Siphon it, right?
Right, right.
So you can,
Maybe the guy was a scientist too, right? So I don't know. So,
so you could,
let's
let,
hold this one.
He folded it and after that he poured it in the gas thingy.
Okay, so let's see how he did it.
So he put it in the gas. He's putting it in the water, but
Right.
after it gets the gas.
Okay. Now imagine this here was gas, right? But
Uh-huh.
instead of that, we have water.
Yes.
Now, what's very important is that for you to take gas from water or anything from something, it has to be higher. This water has to be higher than where you're putting it. And let me tell you why this is important, medical missionaries, young medical missionaries. Because if your parents decide to go and live in the country, when they build their house, they have to build their house keeping in mind that water only flows downhill. Water flows downhill. Water can't flow uphill. It's against laws, God's laws. So let's make sure that this water source is above this one below so that water can flow downhill. So let's try this here. It's on the way.
He pulls it up. Yeah.
Good. You see the water is pouring?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Is he gonna live?
I think I will. Okay,
Go.
so
Go.
so this water here would keep on flowing. Once water is in here,
I gotta try this.
and okay, so if we want to stop it, we just have to lower this here and it will stop. Okay, you see, notice it stopped. Okay, because this now is too low. So if you're building a house in the country, you want to make sure that where your water is coming from, whether you have a spring or wherever your water is coming from, is above where your house is, where you want to. Right. And the whole idea is, and the reason this is important, there's no energy that is needed, and I want to keep it here. Now, the reason this principle is important, your body uses the same thing because there are fluids, there's water going from one cell to the other, and there are certain laws that are used to move water about your body. And later on, when you get older, you will understand those laws easier because it uses the principle going from one level to another level, or from one concentration to another concentration. But if you wanted to go uphill, you have to get a pump. You have to get a pump to pump it uphill. Okay?
So that's why the heart pumps, right? The heart pumps the blood everywhere, even
Right.
to the brain, even to the brain and to the lungs and to those parts of the body that are higher than the heart, because the heart is a muscle and it pumps. But for those that are lower, they just, gravity will just what? Take them down.
And
right?
there's no energy that is needed. If you notice, there was no energy that was needed to let it flow from the high level to the lower level. No energy needed. It just flowed down. Okay. And that's what they call it passive transportation. Passive. Passive means that there's no energy required. Okay. All right. I think we okay. So we're going to go to some review questions. Just one quick thing. I just want to mention this as you're walking in here, because I think this would be relevant to you, you know, as a parent and also I know when you do your missionary work in the different countries, you guys have to deal with this water flow. And what I did, I used a siphon and moved water from the reservoir into this container. And I just used a siphon and siphoned it off. And I told them that it would only flow if it goes from a high level to a lower level, but using the force of gravity. But if you wanted to go in the opposite direction, you require a pump, because the first process for it to flow down the way God designed it, there's no energy needed. No, in your body it's called ATP energy, because these are the same energies that are required to move fluids about your body. And so to understand that at a young age is critical. It's going to be very beneficial to them. And then when they go in the country, they will know how to advise their parents when they are ready to pump water about. Okay. All right. Okay, very good. Okay, so we're going to go to review questions. Yes. And by the way, these are some things that we want you, yes. These are some of the things that we want you to know, all these questions here, And when we give you these questions, you just have like about 10-15 minutes to do all of these questions. It's probably about, I think it's 25 questions. And they have like about 10 minutes at the most, maybe 15 minutes to do those questions, because you would know them so readily that you don't have to think about them. Question number
26.
one.
It's 26.
I think it's 26 questions. That's what you have, 26 or 25?
Yeah, 26.
26. Okay. Question number 1. What is the first thing God made?
Light.
Light. The first thing God made was light. And then the next question is, let's see, we're gonna ask, okay, name 7 colors of the 7 colors of light in order.
Red, yellow,
Orange,
orange, green, indigo, and violet, and
Okay.
blue.
Let's slow down. Make sure we get them in order. Red, orange,
Orange, green, blue, indigo, violet.
But remember the little thing that I told you. So to help you remember all of them, run off you girls, boys in view. R for red, O for orange, Y for yellow, G for green, B for blue, I for indigo, and V for violet. But just write it down quickly. You know, like on a notepad, just put R O Y G B I V. Just write that down to make sure that you get it in order. And one of the things that I try to teach you also is to be accurate. As scientists, God is precise. Everything is exact. Everything is accurate. Everything is precise. Okay, so the 7 colors of light are red. One more time.
Red, orange,
Yellow,
green,
blue,
yellow, indigo, violet.
Okay, very good. Now, what is H2O? What is H2O?
2 atoms.
Okay.
2 atoms of oxygen and 2 atoms of hydrogen.
So what
Right.
is it called? What's the solution called?
Hydrogen and oxygen.
H2O isn't it water?
Yeah.
H2O is water. That's what I'm looking to get. H2O is water. But one molecule of H2O has 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1
And 2
oxygen. And I want you guys to understand the lingo. In other words, to describe it in your own words. What the scientific terms? What H2O means one molecule, and I want you gonna ask you guys to repeat it after I say it. One molecule of water has 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Who's gonna take the chance to say it? Who's gonna say it first?
Me.
Yes, okay, go ahead. Okay.
Which one are we on?
Water. Water.
2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen.
It gives you 1 molecule of water. Is that correct?
Water.
By the way, hydrogen peroxide is one of my favorite liquids. It's one of my favorite liquids. Of course, you keep it in the cabinet all the time, Sonia, don't you?
In the bathroom. Yeah.
In the bathroom, make sure that we have hydrogen peroxide in the bathroom. We always have hydrogen peroxide. Oh, a lot of them too. In fact, the dollar store sells them for $1, like Dollar Tree, you know, and big bottles. Okay.
H2O2 is how you make hydrogen peroxide.
Right.
Okay.
It is a formula, scientific formula of hydrogen peroxide. It's a molecule, H2O2.
The molecule. So 1 molecule of hydrogen peroxide has how many atoms of hydrogen?
Answer my
2.
2. Okay, your turn now.
Maya.
Okay, and 1 molecule of hydrogen peroxide has how many atoms of oxygen?
1.
Of oxygen.
Look at number 4.
We got number 4, H2O2. How many atoms of oxygen? No, there's a 2 after the O. There's a 2 after the O, so it means 2 atoms of oxygen.
Okay, so
Yes.
we had an answer back there.
Angelina said that too, right? Good.
Okay, so 1 molecule.
Pay attention, you know. pay
We
attention,
want
that's right.
you to understand the terminology. We want you to say it like a scientist would say it. He would say that 1 molecule of hydrogen peroxide has 2 atoms of hydrogen and 2 atoms of oxygen. I want somebody to say that.
Can I just
Yes.
perhaps say
Right.
something that
Sure.
probably help them
Sure.
clarify? Okay, you see those 2 big letters, right? You see the little numbers? Those little numbers mean the amount of that letter, letters. So H2 means there are 2 H's. The little 2 next after the O means there are 2.
So it's 4.
Well, 4.
For atoms in the molecule,
A
but
total of
it's
4
a
atoms.
total of 4, but it's only 2 atoms of hydrogen and 2 atoms of oxygen put together make up a molecule of hydrogen peroxide.
But let me tell you why I like hydrogen peroxide. Do you know some people, in fact, I'll ask you something, what do some people use? What do you do with hydrogen peroxide?
Oh, there are many things that I do with hydrogen peroxide. I gargle it, I sniff it in my nose, you know, to add extra oxygen in there so that viruses and bacteria cannot thrive in there, would not survive in there. I gargle it in my throat, in your portals, you know, right? If I feel like I'm getting a cold or flu, I put it in my ears. I put the cover full in each ear and then turn and put it in the other ear, oxygenate all your head, all the portals, the entries where the virus or the bacteria would enter because the extra oxygen would kill them. I use it to disinfect my toothbrush. I use it when my animals are sick, if they're cut or they have a wound, a bite, if they get into a fight or something, I wash out the wound.
With hydrogen peroxide. No, let me explain.
Many
Let me explain why that hydrogen peroxide is so important. Now, when you look at hydrogen peroxide, look at water again. Water is H2O and hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. What's the difference between the 2 of them? Yes,
Because 1 has 2 tubes.
One of them has 2 atoms of oxygen. That's hydrogen peroxide, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and water has how many? Water has 1. Okay, in other words, hydrogen peroxide has some extra oxygen. So that's why when you have a cut and your parents put hydrogen peroxide, you notice what it does? It bubbles. It bubbles. You see bubbles on the cut.
I had to put that on one of my cups because I fell and I hurt
And you see it bubbling, right?
it.
You saw it bubbling. You know what those bubbles are? Those are oxygen bubbles. And why when Sonia rinses with hydrogen peroxide, what it is, the oxygen, that extra oxygen, is a pity I don't have any. Because when you put oxygen, hydrogen peroxide in your mouth, you see those bubbles. And those bubbles are oxygen bubbles. And oxygen kills germs. That's why we put it on our countertops. She would put it to disinfect the dog's cut. You put it on your own cut to disinfect because, by the way, some people kill cancers with oxygen.
Yeah, you have to buy the food grade
Mom,
hydrogen peroxide. and
Oxygen is
put a few-
powerful.
I put a few drops in my water and I drink it. It oxygenates the system. So if there's any bacteria or virus, they won't survive. It will kill them. So it's often and it's good.
and also,
Go ahead,
It
Joy.
also, they use it to disinfect your toothbrushes.
Exactly. I
Right.
rinse off my toothbrush with it every night. So no bacteria will breed on it. And I rinse off my mouth too. So no bacteria would cause cavities in my mouth overnight. After I brush my teeth, I gargle, I shake off with hydrogen peroxide and I rinse off my toothbrush with it.
Right, very good. Okay, so number 5 says 1 molecule of water has how many atoms of hydrogen?
2,
Two,
2.
very good.
And how many atoms of oxygen?
2,
Oxygen.
Water has 1. Very good, Angelina. 1. Go
Okay,
ahead.
very next.
2,
1 molecule of, now we're going to go on to hydrogen peroxide. 1 molecule of hydrogen peroxide has how many atoms of hydrogen?
2,
2.
Very good.
How many atoms of oxygen?
2,
2.
2. Very
Okay,
good.
very good. Okay. So what is the symbol for carbon dioxide?
CO2.
Okay.
CO2.
So
very good.
let's write that down on the board. Carbon dioxide is CO2. Okay. Remember, carbon dioxide, I told you, it's important because that's produced when we eat processed sugars. So that's the thing that affects our immune system. When we eat a lot of sugar, 2 things are made, carbon dioxide and water. And both of them put out a fire. Both of them put out a fire. So that will suppress your immune system when you eat sugars and your body processes the sugar. The 2 things that are made are carbon dioxide and water. Both of them put out a fire. So carbon dioxide is very important also. So carbon dioxide is made up of 1 atom of carbon and 2 atoms of oxygen. We're going to go on to the next one, which CO. What is CO? Is CO
Carbon monoxide.
carbon monoxide? They look almost the same, but carbon monoxide has how many atoms of carbon?
And also, Mommy showed me a trick. When I didn't know the answer.
Okay.
What's the trick?
So you see that carbon dioxide has two atoms of oxygen and carbon dioxide,
Right.
and carbon monoxide has 1 atom of oxygen and 1 atom of carbon.
Very good. But the only thing is we want you to name it in order. So always put carbon first, then oxygen. Carbon, then oxygen. Don't go backwards.
Okay.
Oxygen and carbon.
Okay, but okay, excellent. The point you made was a very good point. Now let me say something. When we made carbon dioxide several times for you guys. And you know, the thing about it is that I told you that people put carbon dioxide in drinks. Some drinks are aerated. Carbon dioxide is what gives it its buzz, its fizz. Okay, so carbon dioxide is not poisonous, but carbon monoxide is poisonous. I told you the story about this guy who went in his car in the garage, locked his garage door, and was running his engine, listening to music. And he was dancing as he listened to the music. And after a while, his dancing slowed down a little bit because what do you think was happening? The carbon monoxide from his exhaust was poisoning him, and he didn't realize that's what was happening, right? And after a while, his busy dance slowed down a lot. And he died. And told you the story of a family in Huntsville where we lived before. They turned on their generator because we had a tornado and everything, power went off. But the mistake they made, you guys are scientists, now you know what to do, the right thing to do. They ran a generator. But if you turn on a generator, particularly people living in the country, you must know and understand what a generator can do. When you run a generator, you don't put it in your house. You put the generator outside of the house. Will you talk to that, Ern? Run a generator. I mean, will
yeah,
you?
you don't want because it's putting out carbon dioxide.
It's putting out carbon
as the
monoxide.
runs.
Right.
Monoxide, yeah.
Now, why did the boy didn't know that he was being poisoned?
And that's a very good
Why?
point.
Why, Maya? Why didn't he know that he was being poisoned? Because carbon monoxide. What are the properties of carbon monoxide that we taught you?
They don't have any color.
No color,
No color.
awesome.
And what else? No color.
Awesome.
And no,
Smell.
and
No color,
smell.
no smell. Very good,
So
very
if
good.
he was
Colorless.
colorless,
Colorless.
he has no color, no smell. So if he was taking a strong odor and it started stifling him, he would have realized that this thing was bad for him and was poisoning him, and probably he would have opened the garage or he would have gotten out of there.
That's
But
a
it
very
has
good
no
point.
smell and it has no color, and that's why it could poison him, and he did not know he was
And
being
carbon
poisoned.
dioxide also has no color and no smell.
Right.
Okay, all right, interesting. Okay,
Next question.
all right.
3 times 10.
Okay, go ahead. You can answer.
Okay, okay, the next question is 3 times 10. By the way, anytime you multiply anything by 10, you just add a 0. Just add a 0. So 3 times 10 is what?
30.
So 27 times 10.
Add a zero.
Add a
The
zero.
number.
You just
270.
270.
Right.
There we
Add
go.
a zero.
Follow.
Okay, 55 times 10.
550.
550.
Very good.
550. Awesome.
Very good. Just
15.
add zero.
15. By the way,
5.
this
Five.
this order, by the way, notice that there's a technique to multiply something by 10. The second technique I'm going to teach you now is how to multiply a number ending with 5 by itself. Let's take one like 15. Okay, 15. 15 times 15. Okay, the technique for that is the number higher than 1. You look at the 15, the number is 1, 5. The number higher than 1 is what?
What's the number after one?
The number higher than 1 is 2, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to just write the 2 just over the 1. Here we go, right? So you multiply the 2 of them. 1 times 2 is what?
2.
Is
Yeah.
2. And it always ends in 25.
225.
225. So let's go to the next one. 25 times 25. We're using those who don't know it. That's okay. We're learning. 25 times 25. You can look at it and tell what the answer is.
25.
The number, what you said, Joy?
625.
625. Okay. So 25, the number higher than 2 is 3. When you multiply the 2 times the 3, you get what?
6.
6.
Well, while you're doing this, I need to go on the screen first.
Yes.
Sonia is showing the technique here, but you're only reading it.
Okay.
You can consecutively go down,
Okay.
but let me go to the
Okay,
screen. and
okay.
start
Okay,
sharing
good.
screen.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so
Yeah, as you explain it,
So
Sonia is
25
actually
times 25.
doing the technique.
okay.
Put 35 times 35.
So the next one will be 35.
Don't stand in front of it now. Stand on the side.
35 times 35 is equal to, don't say anything yet. The number, to make sure you understand the technique, the number higher than 3 is 4. I put a little 4 over there. And you just multiply the 3 times 4. What's 3 times 4?
3 times
12.
2,
12.
12.
And it always ends in 25. So 35 times 35 is 1225.
1225.
Okay, let's go to 45. It's higher, okay. 45 times 45 is equal to what?
Maya.
Okay,
2025.
okay.
20,
No,
25.
okay,
Very
thank you
good.
very much. So
He got the technique.
let's check to make sure 4, the number higher than 4 is 5. 4, 5, 20. Perfect, perfect, perfect. 20, 25. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys
A bonus?
yeah, let's see. We have balloons in there? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna trot off a one at you, a big one. Okay, so everybody focus in on this. I will do one more. 55 times 55 equal to the number higher than 5 is 6. So 55 times
30, 35.
30,
35.
25. Okay. So here's the question for you. Anybody feel free to answer this question. I will just give you like a 2-second pause. Okay. What is, just answer. You don't have to put your hand up because some persons are online. 95 times 95. That's it.
95 times 95 is 90, 25.
9 to 25. So let's check to see if she's right. 95 times 95 is equal to, you see the number higher than 9 is 10. So she said it's 90, 25. Okay, so that's perfectly right. Thank you very much. Okay, okay. So we're gonna do a treasure hunt in a little while. But before, no, we're not ready for the treasure hunt right now. I mean, huh?
It's 5 o'clock. It's gone.
Okay,
It's 5 o'clock.
Okay.
It's
okay. Now, there's some other questions that,
It's not there.
okay,
Go to the bathroom.
all right. Okay, so let's, okay, okay. The next question, before we do the treasure hunt.
After all the multiplication, after 95 times 95, what's next? That's it.
After 95, 95,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
21 is 5A plus 5A.
Okay, the next question is 5. What's 5 apples plus 5 apples?
This is 77,
10 apples.
10 apples. So 5A plus 5A is 10A. Okay, so you can add apples, 5 apples plus 5 apples. Instead of saying apples, we just say A. So what is 5 boys plus 5 boys?
5 boys.
10 boys.
10 B. Okay, so 10 boys. So next one,
20A plus 20A.
20. Okay, 20 apples plus 20 apples. I don't mind anybody. can
40
ask.
apples.
48. Okay. Now I'm not going to be saying apples anymore. I wouldn't abbreviate it anymore. I'll just be saying A or B. So 30 C plus 20 C is equal to what?
It's 50
50
C.
C.
50 C. Very good. Thank you, very. Thank you, scholars. 50 C. Okay. What's the next one?
30 B,
30.
that's 27 B.
30 B plus 27 B equals to
57
what?
B.
Somebody answer.
35 B.
No,
57 B. 57 B.
B.
The young man said it.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, all right, next one.
What's the next one?
5A.
5A
5A
plus 5B.
plus 5B.
I know this one.
Answer.
5A plus 5B.
Okay, now you were saying what, but why is not 10 something? Okay, now the question is 5A plus 5B. Explain why what you were saying. You're saying the answer is the same thing, 5A plus 5B.
Both
Why?
different things and we can't add them both up because they're both different.
Because they're different. You were saying you can't add A and B. Okay. Does everybody agree with her?
Yes.
You cannot add an A and a B. You cannot say 5A plus 5B is 10 anything. 5A plus 5B is 5A plus 5B. You have to leave it like that. You can't simplify it. Okay, so here's the next question. 76A plus 10C. Answer. 76A plus 10C.
Joy?
Yes.
Okay, what's
What's the
76A plus 10C?
76A plus
Plus 10C.
10C is the same thing.
Right, right. Because, explain to us.
Because you can't add the same, because you can't add different things.
Okay, you can't add things that are not alike. Like if somebody says, what's 5 chickens plus 5 goats? What are you going to tell
5
them?
chickens for 5 goats.
Wait. All right. Because there's nothing like a chicken goat, something like that.
Yeah, it's not a chicken goat or the top is a chicken head. And the back is a goat. You can't do that.
You can't do
You have
that.
to glue them together.
Okay. Okay. All right.
If there was a
next one.
chicken goat, that would be weird.
That's
Very
right.
red.
I would like to see one of those, But anyhow, okay, let's do a treasure hunt.
Treasure hunt?
Right.
We going outside with this?
Right.
Let's go outside.
Okay. No, but we're gonna have to do the treasure hunt inside. Okay. Okay.
Let me do something.
This is what you guys
You
have.
wanna get some gold?
Some gold? Yeah.
Gold.
Yes. I'll be rich if I found gold.
Exactly, so make sure you get the answer right.
Okay, now, this treasure hunt, we are hiding gold, right? Here it is, this guy, a lot of people here moved into the country, and here this guy moved into country, he built his house. And so he had all of this gold. He said, where would I hide my gold? Right? And so here, okay, I'll share that with you in a minute. What he did, he hid, he came from New York, right? And he hid the first set of gold. And what he did, he had a book. And he wrote in the book, 2 pounds, 2 pounds in basement. So he hid 2 pounds in the basement. He wrote it in a book. Then the next set, he wrote 1 mile east, 1 mile east, 2 miles west. And then he went back to New York to get the rest of the gold. But when he went back to New York,
They're not seeing what you wrote.
oh, they're not seeing that? Oh, y'all can't see what I wrote just
Now
now?
they can.
Now they can
Okay,
see on the side.
okay,
Yes,
sorry.
they hear.
Okay, so he wrote 1 mile east, 2 miles west. So some smart guy came and saw his book. And what the guy did, the guy stood at the house, he figured it out. He stood here at the house and he walked 1 mile east. And then when he walked 1 mile east, he walked 2 miles, 1 mile east. I should have said 2 miles north. 2 miles north.
Okay, 2 miles north.
1 mile east and 2 miles north. North is always up, remember? And so the guy got a shovel and he dug there and he found the first gold. He took a while to find the first one. Once he found the first one, he understood the secret of finding the gold. So he was able to go and find every piece of gold the guy hid from New York. So the guy, when he came back from New York, he saw all his gold gone.
It must be the same guy that was trying to siphon my gas.
Yes, it's the same guy. Ernie thinks it's the same guy that was stealing his gas in New
That's
York.
right.
I agree.
You agree, right? I agree. So here you have another. Okay. Okay. So what he did, the guy said, listen, I got to come up with a new system. And so this is what he did. He put like this. The first piece of gold, he walked all the way out 3 miles. And 3 miles east and 3 miles north.
I don't see that little tapping.
You're blocking it again.
Okay, I'm blocking it again.
You gotta stand on your side.
I'm fine.
Yes.
Okay, so he walked 3 miles this way and 3 miles up. And here he wrote in his book. He went to the same book and he put 2, 3. Now, when he saw 2, 3, it means that he would walk 2 miles. You always start walking along here first. So he walked 2 miles here and he walked 3 miles up. 1, 2, 3. So here is his first piece of gold that he hid. And he hid a big piece of gold there, right? And so the next piece of gold, he started here. You always start here.
At
He
home.
start home. He walked 1 mile this way and he walked 3 miles down. So 1 mile here. So he put it like this, 1, 3. So 1, 3 means he walks 1 mile here and 3 miles down. Except that to differentiate between this,
North
this
and
is
south.
1, this is 2, this is 3. He called this one -1. -1, -2, -3. Okay, so this one here we call 1, -3. So this piece of gold, he start off with here 1, -3. So he hit this one here. Okay, so one more piece of gold he had. And so guess where he hide this piece of gold 0, 0.
Somebody guess where that is?
Wait, so
Who
he
can tell me
said
where that piece of gold would be?
home.
It would be home.
That's right.
Home.
Yeah.
That piece of gold. Okay, okay.
Wonderful.
But guess what he decided to do? He decided to have, you know what is we call it, like a placebo. He decided to have like a fake piece of gold that to throw people off.
Sneak.
He put like an empty box, an empty shoe box. He took out the shoes and he hide it here. Okay, so he hide one piece of gold. Am I blocking?
You
Honey?
should do that to
Keep
all.
it there.
Okay, he hide this piece of gold. Let's say one -4. 1, -4. Will somebody help me to show me where you think we can find this piece of gold? 1, -4. Well, it's
Okay, come.
okay.
I think I can find
Go
it.
all the way in the piano.
1, negative. Let's come all the way.
Watch the boy.
Careful. Right. 1, -4. 1, -4. 1, yes. -4. -4. Let's see. I didn't put in -4. Here's -4. Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you very, very much. Okay. So the last piece of gold, he hid it right here. But sorry, it was not gold. It was an empty shoebox. So when the guy saw this here, okay, thank you. Okay, so this is where he hit the last piece of
So he
gold.
walked 4 miles for nothing.
You walk 4 miles for nothing. Okay, now I'm going to ask one person to come and hide a piece of gold, and somebody else is going to have to come and find it.
Ooh,
Okay, okay, come.
I'm gonna find a piece
Okay.
of gold.
I don't care where you hide it.
Hide it anywhere.
You can hide it anywhere.
But you have to write down the numbers where you hide it, so
Right,
she can know where to find it.
right. Okay.
Where do you want to hide it? Put it in brackets, your numbers.
I'll do it. Okay.
Okay, let's put it right down
So what
here,
are the numbers for her?
right down here. Okay, okay. You want somebody to come and find it?
What are
Okay,
the numbers
okay,
for her? She
Okay,
can write them
okay,
down
so
herself.
come and tell me the numbers for that. You go all the way out here, 1. Okay, and there you come down 1, -1. Okay, so 1 negative, sorry, 2 -1, that's 2.
Right.
Okay, 2 -1. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so she did hide a piece of gold, 2 -1.
there you go.
2 -1.
Negative.
Okay,
That's
all right.
-2.
It's negative
Okay.
2. We're going to go up a little bit more. You just have to walk 1 mile. 1 mile.
Right.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, thank you very much. So this is 2 -1. Okay, all right. So hopefully you guys in line were able to see and take part of our treasure hunt. You know,
What is the
we're sorry that you were not able to find anything. But next time when you go out of your house, you know, take a look in it. By the way, you know what my wife and I did? we bought, some country land, and we bought a metal detector, right? And you see, the thing about it, pirates used to live in these places way back, or people had their homes and they used to hide all kinds of things, They just go out there and they hide it. They don't want to keep it in their house. And so there's a whole lot of things around your house that you don't even know. In fact, I think my wife's brother one time bought a house, and in the attic, he saw cash money, $100 just buy the house. And so you're searching the house, and people find all kind of things in $20,000 in the house. He's just telling us now. Yes. A lot of people hide things in the attic. In fact, when I was a youngster, we moved into a place, and the difference is I had some money. I had like some $5 bills as a youngster, 7-year-old, and I hid it in the attic. Unfortunately, when I went back 2 days after that, rats probably liked the money more than I did. So I saw pieces of money. But the thing about it, in some houses, when people buy those houses, search your house. You never know. Search around your house. You never know. You might be a rich person. You don't realize it.
What about this woman?
Okay.
What about this woman who decided to break her wall down to fix it with her husband?
Right.
And they found a painting in there.
Right.
That painting worth millions.
Right. I heard that story.
Yes,
The lady, they heard what you said, right?
Yes.
I hope so.
Yes.
Should.
Right. So, the lady broke down her wall to fix the wall, to replace
she
the
found
wall,
this painting
and
that
she
worth
found an
millions.
invaluable painting.
Yep.
So any one of you guys, you check around your house and you find you're rich persons, just share this here with us. By the way, this here is called coordinate geometry, right? So it's just a fancy way of doing these kind of things. Later on, you're going to see the benefit of it. Yes.
Where did he get all this gold though?
Where do you get all this gold?
He bought it,
Right,
or
right.
maybe he went to the riverbed and swam, dived down for it. You
Right.
can get it in the riverbed, in the
Right.
sand.
In Guyana, where I'm
Go in
from,
the riverbed.
they
Yes.
have a lot of gold, right? You go in the mountains
So
and
that's where we treasure hide.
Yeah.
right, you find gold. You find gold because the gold is in the riverbed. Huh?
I'm gonna go,
Closing exercise.
Okay.
but I don't wanna
Really?
walk 100 miles.
Now you remember what's the symbol for gold in your body? Symbol.
A-G or A-U?
Okay.
Which one is it?
AU. AG silver, AU gold. Okay. All right, folks.
Can I have my seat back, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. So nice of you.
I don't touch the seat.
Okay, hope you enjoyed the session today, and we'll remind you of your homework. Please learn the symbols on the periodic table. Learn your elements and the symbols, and continue learning your times tables. The math will be much easier if you know your times tables. So your homework is to learn the symbols on the periodic table of the elements and to learn your times tables from 2 to 12. We'll be quizzing you every session on your elements and your times tables.
Now we saying goodbye to our class today. God in education will bring you through your day. Put your trust in Jesus, He'll show you the way to fulfill the love of Christ of joy and peace. Once more, wish to say goodbye to our class today. God in education will help you through the day. Hallelujah. Put your trust in Jesus, He'll show you the way to fulfill the love of Christ of joy and peace. Finally saying goodbye to our class today. God in education will teach you how to pray. Put your trust in Jesus, He'll show you the way to fulfill the love pleasant joy and peace. John Jim. John Jim. Yes, John G.E.N. tutorial today. Yes, John Jim. I said John Jim. Yes, John G.E.N. tutorial. John Jim. I said John Jim. John Jim. John G.